All right, this is the second attempt at this because the first one dropped after 5 minutes. So, welcome to this special MLB edition of MLB Review Edition, Angel in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Angel Rivera, alongside Mr. Alex Wright and Karen down below. How are you doing this evening, guys?
Good.
I'm doing fine, but I think you said my last name wrong. I thought you sounded like Wright or something like that.
I might have said right. I butcher people's names. I'm sorry. It's Knight, Alex Knight. So, I did probably butcher your name. So, yeah, so welcome back, and this is our second attempt at this. We were talking about Angel Hernandez's retirement, and me and Alex were kind of happy about it, and Karen's kind of indifferent. So, and you were saying something, I don't remember what it was, Karen.
So I was just trying to make more of a general point on it because, let me say, I understand why, you know, people would find this to be a positive thing, just like a net positive, and find it celebratory and all that. I get it completely because he could be extremely maddening and frustrating. We've all seen that. If you're a baseball fan, we know. I get it. No argument. Mm-hmm. My more overarching point is just the fact that, I think that it would be a huge problem if every umpire in the game was like that. But I think it would also be a huge problem if no umpires in the game were like that. Because to me, the way that I look at baseball is that I don't see the umpires, and by extension, bad calls or, all of that kind of thing as an impediment to the game. I see it as part of the game. If you don't have umpires driving you mad from time to time, even in very high stakes games, because that is part of the game. It's a very human game. Then, you don't get just a lot of the things that to me make baseball really great. You don't get managers like Lou Piniella, raging in the dugout. You don't. There's just a certain element where if it gets too sanitized, too free from human error, you lose the humanity of the game to me. So I'm in the middle, meaning that no, if you had every umpire like him, my God, that's insane. But I do think you have to have some part of him of that. So I just kind of hope somebody else can fill that type of role in a way. So that's more of my take.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I mean, MLB umpires. I mean, they're human. They're going to make mistakes, just like NBA referees, NFL referees, NHL referees. Yeah, but the thing is, we don't need MLB umpires who just constantly make bad call after bad call after bad call, and obvious ones too. Like Angel.
Yeah, he certainly. Sometimes it could look like, he took real joy in ringing someone up or something, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. Mm-hmm. I guess if I was going to have to argue the other side of that, I would say, well, but how many calls did he have that were good that go unnoticed? Because if an umpire is doing their job, quote unquote correctly, you don't really notice them. But it's very easy to be like, well, oh my God, he missed that, and he missed that. And especially if they're missed in very important kind of games, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So I'm not disagreeing with you, Alex, at all. I'm not sitting here, I'm not, grieving over his retirement or saying I was a huge fan, but I was just trying to make more of a generalized kind of point.
No, I understood what you were saying. I was just,
It's a smart point. It's a smart point, but
I agree.
With you. Hi, Indy. Thank you for joining us for a little bit. And this is all Angel. Good luck in your retirement, buddy.
that game earlier this year with the Rangers and the Astros, where Angel missed, he called that strike 3. That Rangers announcer said, "You have got to be kidding me."
It was like a foot. It was like a foot outside.
Well, I probably have to make a clip of that or something. When
Yeah.
something crazy's going on, I have to post that or something. Said, "You've got to be kidding me."
Yeah, I remember that right before he retired. It was like one of his last games. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that was Angel Hernandez retiring. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's see. Major League Baseball made some changes to their stats, introducing stats from the Negro Leagues from 1918 something to 1942, something like that. So now there's new record holders, and like for example, Ty Cobb isn't the all-time career batting average leader anymore. It's a guy by the name of Josh Gibson, somebody never heard of. So all of a sudden now
I've never heard of Josh Gibson. I've heard of Josh Gibson.
I'm not paying attention to that stuff, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up to see what you guys' thoughts are.
Well, I'll just say this really quick because my initial reaction was an emotional reaction. I was like, "Oh, that sounds great. Cool. I'm in favor." But then thinking about it more, letting the emotions go over here for a second, it's like, well, hang on a second, because the problem with this, and ultimately where I come down on this, is that these two leagues, they didn't, because of circumstance, because of his, fill in all the things, but these two leagues did not play against each other. You can't do this. The circumstances were completely different, which is not to say in any way, shape, or form that the Negro League didn't have incredibly stellar players, but you're trying to kind of square peg round hole something and put them in with these record categories. It's like, yeah, well, unfortunately the damage is done. This is a history. This is a comparison we can never have because that time is over. We don't have it. We just don't know. So I don't have any issue with, like, if you want to look at the Negro League on its own merit and maybe put some people in the Hall of Fame, like, I think that's pretty damn cool. But to put them just in MLB stats and record, yeah, I'm gonna have to, after my emotions wore off, I'm like, actually no, because it's not fair.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with that point. I mean, I know what Major League Baseball is attempting to do here. They are kind of like virtue signaling, like,
it is virtue signal.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, because they even admitted that they don't. I mean, there's not enough stats from the Negro Leagues because nobody really kept stats in those days. So it was like
they didn't.
Negro Leagues. So it's like they're trying to compile old newspapers articles and trying, painstakingly trying to put together batting averages and slugging percentages and WARs and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you're just tainting something to virtue signal a point that is unnecessary, because also, like, the Negro League, it doesn't need to be, sanctified through like MLB stats. Like, it's its own thing. It was its own thing. It should be respected as its own thing. And this is just a comparison you just cannot get because we can't go back in time.
Yeah. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh well, I mean, we never had the Negro Leagues. We're all together. We're one big family now. So let's
it also invalidates the Negro Leagues by doing that. It's like, we're just going to kind of pretend like, no, that's not how history works.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing history of Major League Baseball, but it happened. You have to accept it, and you say, oh, we integrated now. Like 60% of baseball now Latino, so we've
like, we're good, we're fine, we're more than fine.
Major League Baseball is more than integrated,
And I feel like even by doing that, you can make the argument that it diminishes when the leagues were integrated, right? Because you're just kind of trying to pretend like all this very complex, complicated history, like none of that happened. We're still supposed to celebrate when it was integrated, but they're in the like, it's too fairy tale-ish. You know what I mean? You've got to just respect a history the way it is, with the good and the bad.
Yeah. Well, now let's get to the Boston Red Sox because you got to go around 8 o'clock. So we'll start with your team first.
Start
Then
with
we
the
go from there.
Sox, my
Um,
boys. My rock
I'm looking.
landed.
I'm looking at the standings, and the Red Sox are 30-30. They're 500. They're third behind the Orioles and the Yankees. I mean, they're not that bad. I expected them to be a little worse than that.
Yeah, we
People,
all picked them, or at least you and I picked
Yeah.
them to be last in the AL East.
well,
But
and I think they easily could still be. I mean, we're still early here. We don't know, but what I will say about them, is that given the limitations that they were going into the season with, and then given the injuries that happened to them very quickly into the season, like we lost Story again in a horrible injury. I mean,
Yes,
that
that's
poor guy, that was just brutal.
and he
um
lost Giolito for the season.
right, we have
yes. Before the
now
year started, yeah.
yeah, so we were supposed to have him as kind of like a new ace type, and we're not
hmm
even we knew we weren't even going to see him this year, so we don't have him. Whitlock, now they're saying, has to have surgery.
Yeah,
um
heard about that.
we have just gone down the list of incredible bad luck with injuries, so I think, given that, the fact that they're at 500 and in third, I have to go, oh,
hmm
all right, oh,
I
okay.
expected them to be worse. I
I think
mean,
the problem with the Red Sox, they're just too inconsistent this year. They'll
They're
be winning and
inconsistent. Yeah,
yeah.
they're
like
inconsistent for
this is
sure.
winning, this is they're losing, and they just keeps getting stuck in the middle. They
It,
can't go anywhere, you know.
like 100%, because it's like they'll fix some problems that are plaguing them, and then like it goes off the rails, or then somebody gets injured, or then it's just, and I do wish, it is sad to see that they're having such a hard time winning at home, because one thing about the Sox, the Cubs, I will put the Yankees in this category too, is that you're talking about these sort of iconic parks that don't have a corporate name. They don't, I mean, obviously it's not the original Yankee Stadium, but just the
Yeah.
legacy of that, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about these historic parks that are so unique that, like, you want those teams at least to dominate at home, because Fenway Park is not like every other ballpark. Wrigley Field is not like every other ballpark. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I wish that their home record was better. Um, but I don't know. I kind of knew that. I think we all knew that they were, whether officially or unofficially, in like a rebuilding kind of phase this year. So I don't know how you could be a Sox fan and expect that they're gonna, like, win the division or anything like that. Most likely not make the playoffs.
Yeah, but the problem is, I mean, you
They
look, or you
hmm
can finish if you want to.
No, I was gonna say, like, you never know, like, what can happen. Like, they might soar, they could surprise. Like, I have no idea. Um, but I think, like, right now they have a lot of very young players. Tyler O'Neill, though, has been an amazing pickup for the Sox. I didn't think anything could kind of get me over losing Verdugo, but like,
Well,
Tyler's been great.
Yeah, but I think he had started to struggle lately, and I think he just went on the IL, right?
Yeah, I mean, just added to
well,
the list, but yeah.
I mean,
Well, if I could just say
anybody
something
coming
quick.
from the Cardinals, they automatically become better in their new team. The
Well,
Cardinals seem like they're falling apart. So.
But like the Cardinals, I
I
mean,
don't think the Cardinals are doing too bad, though. I think they're maybe at least close to 500. I don't think they're quite as bad as they were last year.
Well, I
they
mean,
had a really
Marmol is
hard
one of the
time
worst
last
managers I've
year.
ever seen.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like Ali Marmol is, oh, dude. I mean,
What
you're an
what I was going
arrogant
to say
prick,
was,
and you
you were
suck.
talking about the rebuilding for the Red Sox, Karen. The problem is, 2021 they were under that rebuild and they won and they went to the ALCS, and people thought this was going to be a great Red Sox team for years to come, but then now they've started to struggle again. So
I
like,
know.
it.
Well, and they don't. I mean, look, we had an amazing catcher in Vasquez. They let him go, and we have good catchers now. But that was still, it's like, Vasquez, someone like that, had only ever been with the Sox, came up with the Sox, and it's like, I think that they don't really nurture players the same way. I'm hoping like they have a crop of young talent. They're going to take time to develop. Are you going to actually stick with them? Like, I think they're showing that a bit with Duran, because not too long ago he was up and down to AAA, but he's really blossomed.
The Red
So
Sox. Yeah, I mean, lately the Red Sox have no loyalty to their top guys. I mean, the guys that develop.
I hate
Like
it.
it started with what's his face, Mookie Betts. It's like, really, you traded him for a bag of magic beans? That'd be nothing.
And that was Ron Bloom's first move, by the way.
Yeah. It's like Mookie Betts got traded to the Dodgers for a bag of magic beans. It's Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and somebody else, and none of them were in the team.
Connor Long, I think, was the other guy, right? Connor Long.
I believe so. I don't remember. But none of them were on the Red Sox.
Is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I looked at his stats. He's doing good this year, but
he is.
Still, that will go down as one of the worst trades ever.
But it's like what you see with them a lot, so far with this year is like, again, I'm surprised they're even in third. I'll take it. I mean, okay, cool. Like it's a nice surprise. But I think in terms of like them as a team, what we're seeing is that some individuals are doing impressive things. So like, for example, we had like a week ago, I think it was Rafi tied a home run record of Jim Rice's. That was pretty cool. We just had Nick Pivetta tie a single game strikeout record and match Roger Clemens. Like, that's pretty cool. So you have these like individual things that are happening. And it's like, oh my God, that's a baseball history kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as a team, they're not blowing anyone over.
Yeah. I mean, they're better than I thought they would be. And
that's all I can say about it, really.
Yeah. At least for you, you still got the Celtics to cheer for. So
Celtics.
Yeah. And we had the Bruins for a minute there. Like they, that was rough, but like they,
Oh, excuse me. The Red Sox are not as bad as I thought they were. Alex Cora is still a fantastic manager. I mean,
he's a great manager.
It's like 30 and 30. You got that team 30 and 30.
I'm curious because I don't know. This is Cora's last year, and I don't know. Are they going to stick with him and think like, okay, well, you took a very wounded team and had them overperform, or are you going to say we're going to throw Cora under the bus for every problem that
depends how they finish the season. Created. We have to see how they finish the season first before they.
Yeah. Most GMs tell because the GMs are closer to the owners than the manager is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I mean, yeah, it's his fault. It's not my moves. It's his fucking fault. Fire his ass. And
exactly.
He's gone. It's like. But I wish Brian Cash could do that with Aaron Boone. Like, fire him, please. I'm begging you. It's like, just throw him under the bus. He's also in his last year of his contract too.
You're not an Aaron. You don't like Aaron.
I think this is the third. I don't think it's the last year of his contract, Boone. I think he's got one more year.
He's one more year. Shit.
Yeah, because I think when he got the extension, I think it was 4 years, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I know it was a 4-year deal, but I thought it was his last year. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
no, it was after the 2021 season.
Okay, so there's a year left. Okay, well, the Yankees are succeeding in spite of Boone, not because of him. I still have issues with a lot of his moves.
I mean, I know you still have issues with Boone, but I mean, he's done a solid job this year. I mean, I understand. It's mostly the players, but hey, I mean, players like him. And he's helping the team winning. So I mean.
Maybe I'm a little too old school, and I love Joe Girardi, so that's why I'm kind of sour.
With the Phillies, though. I mean, it wasn't too successful.
He didn't do well with the Phillies, to be fair. You're right. Yeah,
he didn't. Rob Thompson took over, and then they started winning. So
maybe the game has passed Girardi by, and Rob Thompson was that right combination of.
I mean, I was surprised when they let him go. I was like, whoa, how would it how much better would it really be if Girardi was still manager? So
probably not. I mean, his run with the Phillies, even though the Phillies weren't as talented as the Yankees are, but
yeah,
it probably, who knows, probably worse or probably a little better. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I don't. Boone has always been like, it's like they hired her from the ESPN booth. I'm like, come on. You could have had, I don't know. I mean, I love Tony Pena, who was in Girardi's staff. I mean, so he could have got the job easily, even though he's older than Girardi. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe they wanted someone younger, to relate to the younger
well,
players.
you look at most managers now; they're pretty much just like Boone. So not like, I mean, in terms of being young and keeping up with the game, today's game. That's what I mean.
Maybe the game's passed me by. I don't know.
There is something about like the wisdom of an older manager and an old school style manager that is incredible, and it's a dying thing.
Unless you're the White Sox hiring Tony La Russa, then that's disastrous. But
Well, I mean, the Mets also brought back Buck Showalter, and we thought, this was going to be
I thought it'd be great,
one of the greatest Mets managers ever, and he did good in his first year. Though the Mets, kind of choked at the end of the season,
the 100-win season.
Next year, and then he was gone after.
He was gone after a disastrous year. Look, I mean, I wanted the Yankees to hire Buck Showalter. It was like, just go back to, because when I started being a Yankee fan, Buck Showalter was the manager. So,
but I think I'm kind of glad they don't have Showalter now, because
the game's passed him by, probably, you can argue, but
especially when some of the brutal Mets losses or something, and Buck wasn't. He was still trying to be positive, saying, "Well, I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with this."
It was very Boonish. It was very Boonish. Like, oh yeah, I mean, we had a disastrous loss, but hey, at least they hit well, or at least there was no errors, Like,
I mean, I'm sure Frank Fleming, is that his name? That Mets fan. Yeah. I mean, you should see how much he went after Showalter. I mean, I guess
I
goes
did.
After all the time.
Lol Mets is back. I mean, they never went away.
They had another Lol Mets today. Another ninth inning meltdown.
Well, Edwin Diaz when he tore his patella, he never was the same. So so he's, unfortunately, it wasn't. Well, he was celebrating during the World Baseball Classic and tore his patella.
Injury.
I think he broke his ankle celebrating, but he was never the same either. But but I digress. I mean, getting back to the Red Sox, I mean, they're better than I thought. I thought they would be, and I mean, the Yankees are better than I thought they would be. Let's be real. I thought the Yankees would be a little worse.
I think the Yankees are going to be better. I don't know if I expect them to be that good, though.
I didn't think they'd be this good.
Yeah.
Especially when we found out Garrett Cole was going to be out for the first couple months.
Yeah, and Luis Hill. I mean, how about Luis Hill? What a
hell! That kid came out of nowhere. He came out. He's pitched a little bit last year, and he was okay. But it's like,
I think he was out with Tommy John surgery, though. I don't think he pitched last season.
Oh, he didn't pitch last season? I thought he did.
I know
it might have been the year before.
The year before, yeah. But I think he was out with Tommy John surgery.
Okay, yeah. So it was the year before. I saw him a little bit. He's okay. It's like, he could be an arm for the future. Yeah. Never thought he'd be this.
Look at some of the pitchers he beat this year. Justin Verlander, Burns,
He beat some of the better pitchers in baseball. Like, where did he come from? He came back, Tommy John surgery. He's better. That's how much.
Especially since they're all doing this without Garrett Cole. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. No bad cookies. The other stream went down unexpectedly, so this is a new one. So thank you for joining us.
Clark Smith went down though, so
that
kind of answers the question of who will take over for the rotation. Because I guess Cole will take over Smith's place.
Cole is going on a rehab assignment. I think.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I think he starts his rehab assignment with AA. So he'll be back soon enough. But I couldn't imagine how the Yankees' rotation is the best in baseball. Pretty much. I mean,
than Matt Blake.
Matt Blake is hell. I would have a problem if Matt Blake made more money than Aaron Boone. I mean, he's more important than that coaching staff than Aaron Boone is. I mean, I'm sure I don't think Boone had a problem with it because he never has a problem with anything. He's like, he's happy to be there.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, got to give the new Yankees hitting coach credit too. I don't know, James Ralston, is that his name? Or
Yes,
yeah,
he was.
he's done,
He's
he's
done a
done.
fantastic job
Yeah,
because the offense is actually consistent. Well, I mean, you can look like a genius when you have Juan Soto, but
yeah,
nonetheless, these. But Stanton's hitting better this season,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so maybe he has something to do with that.
yeah,
Stanton is. You have Judge, Stanton, and Soto. It's like that's a
yeah.
triple monster.
Volpe's doing good.
Volpe's fantastic,
Yeah,
and Glaber's okay. Glaber's Glaber. He's gonna get his numbers, but I'm not
yeah,
impressed with him still.
yeah.
Because
I'm not real impressed with Rizzo either.
I hope. I mean, the Yankees have a first baseman in the system
Yeah,
who's nice, so they might just bring him up. Because I digress with that, but Hal Steinbrenner is complaining about the payroll again. Did you see this a couple of
oh,
weeks ago?
I heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah, he's complaining about, oh well, this is unsustainable. This type of payroll I have right now in the future. I'm like, dude, you own the Yankees, like you own the
yeah,
Royals and have a $200 million payroll or
yeah.
$300 million payroll.
If his father was still alive, he would come up to him and say, "Hey, stop it! Why are you saying that?" You know?
Yes, the payroll it's like what 300 million barely, and he acts like he has the Mets payroll. I think
Yeah,
Steve Cohen has like 350 or something.
yeah,
So it's like no, but it's unsustainable for me. What does that mean? Like, does that mean that your family's complaining about the dividends you're paying them?
yeah.
Is it it's lower than usual? I'm sorry, but the Yankees they make money hands over fist. I mean, and you're complaining about how the payroll's too high and is unsustainable. So what? You're just gonna re-sign Soto and say nothing else in the next offseason?
No.
Is that what we're doing? You're not gonna improve the team in any other ways, like because it's like, oh
I
well,
think it's probably not going to matter. I mean, those were just his words. It's probably not going to matter. He might, regret those. I mean, he's probably maybe
it,
apologize or whatever. I don't think it really matter.
it's like Judge. The Yankees talked about, well, he's 32 years old or 31 at the time. He's too older. We don't want to commit to him long term. And then all of a sudden, when push comes to shove, he signs House Steinbrenner calls Judge. It's like, let's work something out. It's like 9 year, 360. They're like,
Yeah,
whoa, 9 years, like 31. It's like, look, I'm happy he's back, but holy crap, that's going to be a terrible back end of that contract.
yeah. But I'm not worried about the back end right now. I'm just enjoying, having him
Mm-hmm.
in the lineup in our team. So
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just saying, I think about that back end. It's like, ew. But at the same time, I'm happy he's, here with in his prime. Not
yeah,
gone.
mhm.
Even though the Padres offered 400 million,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
Giants were there too.
yeah. And
I,
Judge wanted to stay with the Yankees, so
the Giants were like, Judge went to meet with the Giants in last offseason or the offseason. He was a free agent. He's like,
it wasn't Aaron Judge that meet him. It was Arson Judge.
arson, fucking John Heyman. I mean, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, we lost Judge. I was like, oh well, wait, he put arson Judge. He signed with the Giants. What 380, whatever the amount was. It was a lot
Yeah.
of money. And then
Yeah, and
it's like,
it went with Carlos Correa, and then that fell through. Then the Mets.
oh yes, when the
that
ankle
fell.
injury.
Yeah,
I'm like, just get him. It's Carlos
yeah,
Correa. Like it's some
yeah.
older dude.
I thought the Giants. I was like, what are you doing, Giants? You're basing it off of what was it, a 2014 injury or something? Like
That
you're gonna not do it after all. But then when I said the Mets do it, I was like, oh, okay. Then maybe the Giants were right for doing that after all.
maybe they saw a concern in his X-ray
Yeah.
and stuff. So it was like, yeah, but if I'm still doing it, it's Carlos Correa. It's not like it's some scrub. He's one of the better shortstops in baseball, and he still is for the Twins. I mean, he had a good year so far.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Lindor has played like trash, and he's continued playing like trash. So low Mets again, paying $340 for Lindor.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like he's hitting 190 this year. I mean, he's been a disaster.
I think it's just over 200, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I watch enough of the Mets too in the
Yeah.
background. I'm like, yeah, Lindor is like a replacement level player, and he's making 35 a year or whatever. It's like, yeah, good job, Steve Cohen. What I mean?
Yeah, there was a game like a week or two ago. It was against the Giants. I don't know if you saw it, but he was in the middle of that bat. There's a full count, and right when
He,
it
yeah,
just hung his bat down.
he's like, oh yeah, okay, I walk away. You know, he just did this. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And then that pitcher, Jorge Lopez, he threw his glove, and then he said the Mets were the worst team in baseball, whatever. And I'm like,
I don't think that's what he said. I think that he clarified saying he was the worst teammate. I think he went on Instagram and saying he's clarified it was the worst.
Yeah,
still,
I heard Don LaGreca on the radio saying that. Yeah, I think he meant to say he was the worst teammate. The Mets weren't the worst team because English on his first language. So it's kind of like. That's what Don LaGreca said too. It's like, okay, that makes more sense. But they still released him. They still released him, you know. So
yeah, maybe the Yankees will pick him up and Matt Blake will turn him to God or something.
I wouldn't be surprised. Look, Matt Blake can turn any pitcher into Garrett Cole, Roger Clemens, or whatever. Let's see. Bad Cookie says, "Can the Randy Johnson come out of retirement?" I know he's.
But he also. I'm reading the Dak Prescott comment.
Oh, but he can keep his hip in his socket. He still has decent torque on the ball. I mean, Randy Johnson was mediocre for the Yankees 20 years ago, so I wouldn't like that too much. The Yankees make money. They made more money than any team in baseball, I guarantee. I think the Mets do actually. Sign Dak Prescott.
I think the Mets actually have more money.
Well, Steve Cohen probably is worth more than Hal, but the Yankees spend. The Yankees make more money, so they can spend it. But the Giants signing Dak to 6 years, $200 million. They already got Daniel Jones for $40 a year.
Yeah,
they're going to just cut him and eat that salary cap, and they won't be able to afford Dak.
I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback though. Because
let's go with Tommy DeVito. It worked last year until he got hurt. Shit.
But I think they had some other quarterback playing too at the end of the season. I think it was the last game. Didn't the last game against the Eagles they had a different quarterback or something?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito got hurt. And so they played somebody else, which don't ask me his name, but I digress. You know, it's more of a baseball thing. But it's more of a baseball stream. But yeah, I mean, the Yankees are better than I thought they would be, and all of a sudden Judge has 21 homers and 47 RBI. Soto has 17 homers, 53 RBI. And Stanton has 14 homers and 31 RBI. So those three guys have combined for like 60 home runs this season, and it's barely.
Jose Trevino's having a great year again.
Trevino, yeah, I mean he's for a catcher. He's having a great year.
Yeah.
Oswaldo Cabrera, Glaber's been okay. He's hitting 230 though. Yeah. At least his on base is 308, but. Let's see. Judge's on base is 417. So is Soto. Stanton is Stanton's on base pretty brutal, 278.
I'm not really concerned about his on base stuff. You know, it's mostly his power production.
Well, yeah, but Stanton with his power, I expect him to walk more than that. But I digress. Yeah.
But I think he's still doing better than he was last year. Right?
Yeah, he definitely is. But I'm just nitpicking. His on base is too low, especially when a home run threat like Stanton. I mean. You would expect it at least be 350. I assumed it was like 350.
Oh yeah, and something else I wanted to bring up. Karen, I think the Yankees and Red Sox they're expected to play soon this month, right? Is that correct? The thing
in June.
I don't understand is the last 3 seasons, 2021, they didn't start the first series till June. Then the next year, 2022, they did start opening week, but we had to wait till June. Till we saw each other again in the next series. And then last year, we had to wait till June. And then again this year. It's like the biggest rivalry in baseball. Why are we waiting?
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Because I remember it felt like just sort of a general feeling where it was, you're right, it was either very early in the season or they were like each other's home opener or just something like that. You know what I mean? But now it's just sort of this like, oh, we'll throw them in, you know, wait till June. I don't know. Yeah. It is strange because I feel like those used to be, that was a matchup that you would see earlier and you would see just more consistently throughout. But I wonder if some of it now too is because they have it where every team plays everyone. It's, you know how like before
Well, because
there
it
were
happened,
some things we didn't see.
it happened in 2021 and 2022, so it was before the balanced schedule. But I could understand if you didn't want to play in April. Okay, fine, but not even May. I mean, like,
No.
come on.
Yeah, I mean, you would expect the Red Sox, and back when they had the imbalanced schedule, Yankees and Red Sox played like 30 times a year. Now it's
All
not.
the time. Yeah. And now it's like
Now it's down
we
like
don't
18
see
or
each
19.
other as much.
Yeah, I do like the balanced schedule, though. I do want to like teams playing every team. I do like
Yeah, it's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, the Yankees play the Giants right now. They just swept them, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to see them go to Giants Stadium. What's that? PNC Park, wherever that place is.
No, PNC Park's the Pirates Stadium.
What is that called?
The Giants Stadium. It was called AT&T Park. I don't know if it's still
AT&T
called.
Park.
I don't know if it's still called AT&T Park, but
It's a corporate name. They change every few years. So
Yeah.
I remember it's AT&T Park, but it could be something else now.
Mm-hmm.
But for June, I can't remember off the top of my head if it's at Yankee Stadium or Fenway, or are they seeing each other twice and it's both? I don't.
I'm not 100% sure because
And check the schedule.
because I think from 2019 to 2023, it's all started at Yankee Stadium. You have to go back to 2018 when they started at Fenway. So I would believe it's starting at Fenway this year. So
Let's see. Check
when I
My
check-
Angel's looking.
Yankees, Red Sox. What? Wait. No. Okay, here we go.
you at the MLB.com page?
Yeah, I'm looking, and apparently it's June 15th at Fenway. It looks like.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it's at Fenway. So the Yankees and Red Sox start out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 games at Fenway. It looks like.
I would love to go, but I don't have a small fortune.
It must be expensive to get into Fenway.
Well,
It's like Yankee
Fenway
Stadium.
because it's such a tiny park.
Yeah. Yankee Stadium is really expensive to get into unless you're in the right field bleachers, and then that's kind of cheaper. But yeah, I mean that's where the best fans are at, anyways. I used to sit in the bleachers in right field all the time. It's like
Every time
$10.
we go to Fenway, it's bleachers. I don't think I've ever sat anywhere that wasn't the bleachers.
Behind home plate.
I usually like sitting like closer to like first base, middle seats, or something like that.
I mean that would be really cool, but again, like Fenway is a totally different experience because again, unless you have a small fortune, you good luck.
So the Red Sox charge like premium prices for a mediocre team. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you would have to lower those prices.
I mean, well, the thing is, like, it depends. Like, yeah, generally speaking, yes. Generally speaking, they could be in last place, and if you want to sit behind home plate, like, you better have a grand. Like, it absolutely. And, that's ridiculous, obviously. But like there are some sections of the park where you could get something in the grandstand, maybe, but it's like you're still looking at more than you would think, like unless you're gonna go to, and because a lot of times I'll go to like Game Time, which is an app where you can get cheaper tickets sometimes and all of that, but it's all like by demand and what's available and what people put up for sale. So when it's Yankees, it's like forget about it.
Oh, it's very Yankee Stadium. Behind home plate, you need at least $2,000. But yeah, I mean, you talking about these apps? The Oakland Coliseum, they got tickets like $10 there. I seen them. It's like, whoa, $10. I mean, I can go to a Major League Baseball game for $10. Oh yeah, Oakland Coliseum or Rickey Henderson Field, whatever it's called now. It's disgusting. I mean,
not even the Marlins fan would go there.
No, I mean it's gross. I mean there's people who taking picture of rats as big as cats. I'm like, how the hell is this rat get in here?
It's not. Oakland is not okay.
You said rats? Is that what you said?
Rats as big as cats. It's like, how did he get in here? This is like a possum, not a rat. There are actually possums in the road commentary booth. They found possums there once. They had to go somewhere else to call the game. I think it was the Mets commentary team or
And
something.
Oakland, they're moving to
Las Vegas.
Is it Vegas?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's before Vegas. They're moving to Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento. Yeah, they're leaving.
Stadium, and then they're moving.
Eventually, they get a new ballpark built in Las Vegas. And I guarantee you that owner is going to spend a shit ton of money when they get to Vegas.
Mhm.
He has the money. The guy has the money. He just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be in that stadium, and it's sad for Oakland A's fans because they've been through that team through thick and thin, and it's like, no, man, yeah, we got to move to Vegas. And I guarantee you that man will sell the team as soon as he gets to Vegas and double and triple what he paid when he bought it in Oakland. It's a scam. It's a straight. Some of these owners just scam. And what they do is they build a new ballpark, and the taxpayers pay for it, and then they sell the team and like make triple their money they bought the team in. Jeffrey Lawyer did that with the Marlins.
Yeah.
It's a straight up scam. He had the new Marlins Park built by the taxpayers, and it's a beautiful park. I mean, I've never been there, but beautiful park. But he sold the team and made a shit ton of money.
It looks like that ballpark will be in GTA 6.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
But I think that there were leaks that they're gonna have that. I think they're gonna have that stadium in the game. So, which would
that'd be cool. It's a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
But the Marlins are mediocre. I mean they've won 2 championships somehow with like a shoestring budget somehow.
Yeah. You know, after the amazing season they had last year, and then they decided to let their GM go. I don't remember who her name was.
The woman.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's a woman GM, King Nan, something. Yeah.
She did a tremendous job with that team, and then they let her go.
Yeah. They also Jeter's gone too from the team.
Well, Jeter was gone before that. Yeah.
It's like it was supposed to be his team, but the billionaire kind of backed them.
Funny, the first thing Jeter did with the Marlins was traded
Stanton to the Yankees and kind of give us an albatross. Like, oh yeah, here's Stanton. Oh, it turns out he's an albatross contract. Oh, great. He's been good this year. I'm not really trashing him now, but overall, his contract has been kind of disastrous for the Yankees.
Well, I'm just glad Stanton, ever since he came to the Yankees, he hasn't had any controversies. He hasn't had any problems with the media.
No, he's a great guy. I mean, he's never made any excuses. Like, I suck and I need to do better.
It's like he knew what he was getting into when he went to the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to come here because he had no trade clause. So he can do wherever he wanted. He couldn't go on to the Dodgers if he wanted to, but he came here for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like, I respect him, but he's just his contract is kind of an albatross. And Hal Steinbrenner can make excuses like, oh well, we have Stanton's contract, so we can't really do anything else. So he's not his father. I mean, George wouldn't care, but it's like, Hal clearly does care, or at least his children, not just Hal, but the sister and their other children. They're clearly not as invested in the Yankees as George was. So it's like the boss was. So I'm like, just sell the team to Jeff Bezos. I mean, or I'd be bitching about Jeff Bezos saying he won't spend any money. So it's like we don't know what Jeff Bezos would do with the Yankees because I think he's partly owned the Yes Network now. So it's like
he is.
I think he does because now some of the games are on Prime. So I'm sure
that's true. Yeah, it's on.
I'm sure he has some ownership in the Yes Network.
Oh, really? Some of the games are on Prime.
Yeah, some of them are on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it started back in 2022 because MLB TV, it's had some games on Amazon Prime, and I'm able to watch it thankfully. But still, it's crazy.
Because what they've done with the Sox is there'll be games on like Apple TV.
Oh, the Yankees are
that's a baseball thing. It's not the Red Sox. It's a baseball thing. I'm
not paying for Apple TV.
Yeah. No, same.
1 or 2 games a year with the Yankees.
When Apple TV came in 2022 with the baseball games, I didn't really have a problem with it because as long as I had an account, I could still watch it for free. It wasn't a problem. But then now they charge you to, and
It's like if for Apple TV is like $10 or $12 a month. I'm like, why would I pay that just to watch 1 or 2 Yankee games a year?
And what I also hate is that before the 2023 season started, YouTube TV, which is what I have, they got rid of
I have it
MLB
too.
Network, which I was just furious. I love
Um,
MLB Network.
I have MLB Network on my YouTube TV. Or you hold on, unless
No,
it's
no, it's no longer on YouTube TV. They got rid of it before the 2023 season started.
oh, maybe I'm wrong. No, it's the NBA Network. I'm confused because I have YouTube TV too. So
Yeah, no, it sucks because I've had MLB Network since its first debut, 2009, and I've loved it, but
oh yeah, it's an awesome
yeah,
network,
I
but
can't watch it anymore. And I've had talks with my dad about maybe whether we'll switch to DirecTV, maybe something, but we haven't done it. But maybe
yeah, I
that's
mean
the
YouTube
go.
TV is fine. I mean it has most of the channels I want, but
Yeah,
uh, no, I mean I'm probably confusing it with the NBA Network or something.
mhm.
Yeah, because I thought we had it, but maybe not. But yeah, I mean it's they make it harder. I mean, we think we talked
Yeah,
about this last time we talked about baseball. They make it harder to watch baseball than easier.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that's sort of my overall objection is like you're turning this very simple pleasure into a luxury good, right?
Mhm.
That's the problem. Like like I remember growing up because my grandpa was really into sports. My like I
Mhm.
just come from a sports family, and like you could just you we didn't there weren't all these obviously like these apps and services and things and subscriptions and all this stuff. Like you could just turn on the TV,
Yeah,
basic channel, and watch the game. It was just a
Mhm.
very
yeah,
accessible human thing to do, and now it's such a luxury. And because for me it's like, okay, so we have Nesson, which is the Sox network,
Mhm.
like the Yes network is for the Yankees,
Yeah.
and we also happen to have like ESPN and ESPN2. And so, like, obviously, very spoiled with the cable, like, fully admit that. But then it's like, okay, and there are times where none of that is even good enough. Oh, you would need Apple TV. It's like, are you,
Mhm.
because it just, all these different ways to siphon from you. And, you know, when it comes to, um these teams kind of having their own network, whether it's Yesin, Nessun, or the Yes Network, and then you start to see those games, right, like disappear to these sort of more media conglomerates where these small networks like Nessun or Yes can't compete. And it's like it just sort of it I don't like that because I'm sure Yes is the same thing, but like with Nesson, okay, yeah, they'll give you the games, and then if it's not showing a game, it's showing a classic game, or it's doing something about the history of the team, or it's like it's got an identity. And then if you just start funneling the games, be like, oh well, it's on something very sterile, it's on something very neutral. It just kind of feels like such
It's
a
lame.
loss.
and now isn't there also like a Nesson Plus now or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's for people without cable because Yes Network is something similar.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like $20 a month, and you don't have cable, so you can pay $20 a month to
And
watch that.
just have and then
Yeah,
there's
so
still gonna be times where it's like, "Oh, but you wanna watch the Yankee game?" Well, too bad.
well, now you gotta watch it on Prime, you gotta have Apple
Mhm.
TV subscription, and oh yeah, you have to also have a Peacock subscription because one
oh,
game a year is
Right,
on there
same.
at 11 a.m. in the morning on
oh man,
Sunday
Mhm.
for no
yeah, that's
reason. So
it's funny
yeah.
because during the 2023-2024 NFL postseason, I think I may have told you about it, Angel.
Yeah, it was a Peacock only game
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
the Chiefs and Dolphins game. I had to order Peacock just for that game to watch it. But since
Yeah, it's like
I did cancel the subscription not too long ago. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
come
what
on
I had to do.
NFL. I mean, you're supposed to see the NFL is more accessible. They're on local
Yeah,
television. Anybody can watch
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
and said, "Oh no, you have one exclusive game on Peacock. If it's your team, you're screwed. You got to pay $5 or whatever."
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
But
for something like the NFL, which I'm not a football fan, but like there's so fewer games that like if they take one away, it's like that's like 10
yeah,
baseball games.
yeah, it's a meltdown because it's a playoff game. It wasn't like it's just
Of
one regular
course.
season game. People
well,
melted down over it.
one thing I was gonna say was, let's say whenever Garrett Cole comes back, let's say it's on a Friday game that's supposed to be on Apple TV. If I'm Aaron Boone, I would not have him
Just
because
skip it.
his big return. I would
Just
have
skip
him
the
skip
start.
that start on Friday and then
Yeah.
have him like pitch on Saturday instead, so that more people can watch it.
Yeah, I mean,
I would do.
I'm sure the organization would kind of, the higher ups in the Yankees were kind of like, yeah, just push him another day. He'll be fine,
Yeah.
I mean, I think God he didn't need Tommy John. I thought, elbow inflammation?
Yeah,
That's
thought
Tommy John. That's Tommy John's usually, and he's gone for the year. Luckily, it wasn't. But
thankfully it was. Yeah, but it looks
yeah,
like he's
because elbow inflammation is code for Tommy John usually. It's like, oh shit, his elbow's inflamed.
Yeah, look at all the pitchers that are, all the
There's
pitchers
an epidemic of Tommy John surgery among pitchers in baseball.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, back in the 90s and I was growing up, pitchers used to go 150, 160 pitches in their starts and be fine.
Yeah.
And now guys can barely go 100 and then they need Tommy John at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. There's research that says, well, kids are throwing as hard as they can and, in like
That's what
elementary.
Pedro Martinez tweeted out a couple months ago.
His
saying-
theory was, that the kids are throwing too hard, too fast,
Yeah. I don't think it's
They don't
the
want
pitch
you.
clock. I understand why they say it's the pitch clock, but the
pitch
pitchers,
clock-
it's not like the pitchers are rushing, they're still able
Well,
to.
I think it's like a combination. Obviously, the pressure for this totally ridiculous level of velocity above all, like just the god of speed and all that is absurd. I think I would think the pitch clock is a symptom of what we're seeing. I don't think it's the cause. I don't like it at all, but I don't like it for very specific different reasons.
Yeah,
But I think when it comes to the velocity thing, it's like, what are we reducing pitching to? Because by this logic, right, and you see it now, like you can't have a trick pitcher, you can't have a knuckleballer, you can't. I mean, it's just this like
Knuckleball's
hard
hard.
throwing. Take all the art out of it. Take all of the nuance out of it. Just kill yourself. Throw, burn out this athlete. Get him Tommy John, and then next. I like. This is ridiculous. This is not pitching.
I think that maybe that's part of the reason why the Yankees still rather have Clay Holmes as their closer, because he's not one of those really hard throwers. I mean, I've seen him throw 99 at times, but
he can throw in the high 90s, but
yeah,
he doesn't do it often.
The ball pitcher, he doesn't. He's not aiming for strikeouts usually. So.
The greatest pitcher I've ever seen was Greg Maddux, and the fastest he threw was 92, 93.
Maddox is a great pitcher.
He used to just paint the corners.
Yeah.
And like, how the hell you with that?
He wasn't- Yeah, it wasn't his stuff.
All of this away
his
just for
location.
velocity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't his stuff. It was his location that made it.
Yeah, his location was brilliantly perfect. I'm like, how am I supposed to hit that? It's right in the corner, right, barely a strike, and it is a strike, but it's like, I'm supposed to hit that. He's one of the greatest pitchers I've ever seen.
You don't get that anymore. You can't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I mean, yeah, I agree. 100 and 101 miles per hour. It is exciting, of course, but you gotta.
Only certain guys could throw over 100 consistently. Roger Clemens is high 90s, one of them, and Randy Johnson, but he's 6'11", so it makes sense. He could probably handle it. Pedro Martinez was kind of, he was smaller, but he can throw high 90s consistently.
But Pedro, also had.
You know him well. Sure,
he also had, like, it wasn't just nothing but.
He's a pitcher. He's a
and I
straight
think for a lot of pitchers, they have other things, but you're being discouraged from, using any kind of more pitching finesse for just no, you have to throw really hard and as fast as you can.
I remember CC Sabathia used to be just mainly fastballs early in his career, but ever since he started focusing more on the secondary pitches, and all of a sudden his fastball wasn't quite as high as, you know.
Well, injuries and stuff with CC. I mean, I love CC.
I'm talking about ever since he came to Yankees, like even like 2009, 2010, even his fastballs weren't reaching high 90s. It wasn't even that, but he was still able to locate it, and he was focusing on the secondary pitches that got him to.
He reinvented himself into a pitcher. By the time he retired, I'm like, oh yeah, I would put in CC in the game over nearly any pitcher when he had him. It's like, even though he wasn't throwing high 90s anymore by that point, but I trusted him more than any other pitcher in that rotation when he was there, especially towards the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him like in his last game, he separated his elbow. He still threw. He threw really his shoulder. He still threw pretty well.
I think it was shoulder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he separated his shoulder. He still pitched well in the last another inning or two. I'm like, I know he's done, and I kind of teared up. You know, it's like, I mean, it's tough to watch. He left it all on the field.
Yeah.
He left every inch he had on that field, and I knew he was done. Everybody knew he was done by that point, but. It's a 2018 ALCS 2019. Yeah, he was done. I knew he was done. Everybody knew it, but it was like,
well, yeah, it was his last season. He announced his retirement before the season.
Yeah, he was done. He left everything he had on that field, and I love it. And CC, I swear by him to this day. It's like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember what he did against the Rays the year before. When
he threw at the catcher, I think it was, and
he's like, "That's on your bitch" or something like that.
Yeah, like that's you. No, he pointed at Kevin Cash or something. There was something.
I was towards the dugout.
He threw at a Judge or something. It's like, and it like he had his.
No. They threw at the catcher for the Yankees. Forgot his name. He was a secondary catcher. I forgot his name. I think
Higashioka.
No. Austin or
Wells?
No. He was with the Yankees during 2019, 2018, I think 2017 is. I gotta remember. Let me go check.
I don't remember. Yeah, he threw at somebody, and then
Sonny Gray had to pitch. Do you remember?
Yeah, but I don't remember his name. You gotta look it up.
I can look it up. Just
but yeah, CC threw at their catcher, and he pointed, I think, at Kevin Cash and said, "That's for you, bitch."
Yeah.
You know, and he got ejected. You know, because he threw, and it cost him like $1 million clause in his contract to pitch certain innings. Yankees still paid it to him because he he's gonna get it
Romine. That's Austin.
Romine. That's right. Yeah, Romine.
Yeah.
He's a backup catcher. That's
that
right.
was the catcher that the Rays hit in that game.
Yeah, and CC threw at their catcher, and he's like, "That's for you, bitch."
Yeah.
You know, and he walked off and he got ejected.
Yeah.
And the Yankees still paid him the bonus because I think there's an
inning
bonus
he
in his
still
contract.
Got the bonus.
He's gonna get it anyways. He was dominating, you know. So they just paid him to it anyways. Like, oh yeah, here's your money anyways. You don't get it, so it's like, yeah, thank you. You know, I mean. That's why I swear by CC. He cared. He loved his teammates. You know, he would do that. It cost him like millions of dollars, supposedly. The Yankees paid him to it anyway.
Yeah, but he didn't care. He already has a ton of money. He doesn't care about that small amount.
Yeah, that's why I love him, because he already had a shit ton of money, so it wasn't like he needed the money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, let's see what else. I mean, the Red Sox. You know, I mean, I was
struggling this season.
I love seeing that. Honestly, I people say I'm bitter about 2017, and I am. I thought the Yankees should have made the World Series that year if it wasn't for the Astros cheating. And Girardi would probably still have his job, or at least would have stayed a few more years.
Well, actually, I think I read that even if they won, he still probably would have been gone.
I read that too in that book. Who wrote that book? The Yankee. I think it was what's his face. Wasn't John Heyman?
It was somebody that said, I don't know who. I remember.
Yeah, it was what allegedly Brian Cashman said. Oh, we're gonna move on from Girardi no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's like, really? He won the championship, and then you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna move on from you.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. You know, I mean, he had to bring him back at least one more contract, maybe 2 or 3 years. Even after that, you let him go, fine. But like imagine letting go a World Series winning manager after he wins. It's like I'm not buying that.
Well,
No
kind
matter
of
what he
similar.
said.
The Astros did let go. I mean, I know he wasn't their manager, but they did let go James Click. Is that his name? After they won in 2022, he was their GM. You know, he was,
Yeah,
and then he was gone after that year because I think Click wanted a bigger contract or more money, but the Astros, for whatever reason, they wouldn't do that, even though he had been so good. And
does
now, you know,
now I think they're paying for it, and even though yeah, they're just mediocre. I mean, I'm like. I'm like, I hated the Astros. I mean, they beat the Yankees in 17 and then 19 again. And then there's more questions about cheating with Altuve having allegedly had a thing in his uniform
yeah,
where,
but I think it wasn't really proven. I don't
no, that
think
was
it,
never proven, but,
yeah.
but as an angry Yankee fan, oh yeah, Altuve cheated again, so I got over that.
Yeah.
And I dislike Chapman with a passion. I mean, his last year, he didn't, he
Oh,
wasn't
when
there in the
he
playoffs.
left the team before the
Yeah.
season
Yeah,
started.
it's like, dude, I mean, just throw the pitching session. I mean, why do it's like, no, I shouldn't have to do that. No, just do it.
Yeah.
You're making like 20 million a year or whatever just to throw
Mhm.
one inning. I mean, just do it.
Yeah, I
Like,
hate to say
no.
it. I hate to say it, but Altuve broke Chapman with
hmm
that.
Chapman just did like this, like just smiled after the home run and walked
Well, he
off.
smiled because he couldn't believe Altuve hit that. You know, he couldn't believe Altuve hit that pitch out of here. You know, and it was
Yeah,
more
it
of a
broke him.
compliment.
I think he was done after that home run. He never was the same really after that.
Yeah,
Even though he's pitching well, where is he now? The Royals? I
Pirates.
remember the Royals signed him. Oh, the
He's with the
Pirates?
Pirates now. Because
Yeah.
remember you were tweeting to me saying, you know, can you imagine like what something like how many wins or something, and I would say maybe the amount of blown saves or something. Do you remember tweeting? Do you remember tweeting that?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I forgot he was in the Pirates. I do remember
yeah,
tweeting that. So it's like,
yeah.
uh, I mean, he's still hanging around, but he's not the same.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
I
the
remember with the
greatest
he.
closers. Him and Craig Kimbrell, they haven't been the same
Where
lately.
is Craig Primble? He retired,
Orioles,
right? Or
Orioles.
Orioles?
No, he's with
Yeah.
the Orioles.
Oh,
Although I think he's been pitching better lately because I was watching one of their games. He got the save against the Rays. And I mentioned I heard Orioles commentator say he had a really rough April, but he's really turning around in May. So that's right.
Kimbrel's on the Red Sox. That's right.
Yeah,
That's why you know him really well.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's the
was
one.
once upon a time. He was.
Yeah,
Now
he
he's
was the
not.
one where my mother is a Yankee fan. He's like, why the hell does he do that? Like he would do,
Oh yeah.
like he
Well,
does this.
I
Like why
What do
does
you
he do
want?
that? I don't know.
he
It's like
does
I don't
this
know,
like
mom.
kind of dead arm as part of his wind
hmm
up, and it just flips me out. I don't
Yeah.
like it. I hate it. I
hmm
like he's an
He,
astonishingly good pitcher, but like
he would do the.
Yeah.
I
He's like,
hate.
what do you want, bro? Come at
hmm
me.
Yeah, I hate. It's like
And
why my
it's just
mom.
this very like weird like I don't know.
My
I don't
mom,
know.
why does he do that? I don't know. I mean, it works for him. He
Because
just
yeah,
does
because
this.
every pitcher has like what works for them, but I
Yeah.
am.
It also kind of reminds me when you know, Luis Garcia, he would do the rock the baby thing and then he'd
Yep.
throw the pitch.
Yeah.
And I'll get like I don't know, it's like with pitchers, like I either absolutely adore their wind up and it's just a thing about them that I makes me like them even more, or or sometimes it goes the other way, like with Kimbrel, where I hold this against him, which is ridiculous because it has nothing to do with him as a person, but it just bothers me so much.
Yeah, my mom, like, why does he do that? I don't know. I mean, he just does this and it works for him. I don't know, man.
He's
I
like one
hate
of
it
those,
when he come in
he's
the
like one
game
of those
because
creatures from Dead Space. You know?
it's like,
It's a very like it looks very like insect like. It's just
Yeah.
this like one
yeah.
arm, like I don't know.
Mariano Rivera used to do this.
Yeah.
Throw,
Yeah,
strike three, we win. It's
Yeah.
like that's what we used to.
Good morning, good
Very
afternoon,
simple,
good night.
very simple.
Yeah.
And the problem is with the Yankee closer, they're always compared to Mariano. It's not fair. There's only one Mariano Rivera, and
you can't really,
nobody can be him ever again.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean Chapman got it, and now Clay Holmes gets it, and it's not fair to either of them. Even though I never really liked Chapman, but he got the job done most of the time, so I was like, whatever. But I like Clay Holmes. He's a good guy, and it's like it's not fair to him.
That was
you
a
know?
really great trade by Cashman from the Pirates.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember, I remember when they made that trade. I know a lot of Yankee fans were upset because the Yankees traded two of the players that the fans really liked, but it turned out to be a really great trade.
Was it Clint Frazier? Did Clint Frazier trade?
No. It was I don't know if it was a Korean player. It was, I think the last name was Park or something like that.
Oh yeah, the Korean player,
and then
Park.
And then another player was the last name of Castillo, I believe.
Yeah, the Yankee fans thought, oh well, they could be. Those guys are like future stars, and you moved them for Clay Holmes.
But they won the trade.
Yeah, the Yankees definitely won that trade, and Clay Holmes.
The one reliever I don't like though is that there are a couple others, but probably the most is Caleb Ferguson. He's been terrible this year.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes me want.
Matt Blake isn't perfect. Matt Blake isn't. He can't turn every pitcher into a star.
Wandy Peralta back.
Oh yeah, I mean, Wandy was he was consistent. He was good.
Yeah.
He didn't throw 99, but he was good. He was like one of the better relievers the Yankees had. For a couple of years.
Yeah.
Carlos Rondon. He's back. He's back to being good again, dominant.
Yeah.
Marcus Stroman is good. I mean, I love Marcus Stroman. He blocked me on Twitter at one point, but now he unblocked me recently. But
well, yeah, we all had issues with Stroman, but now we love him.
Yeah, he blocked me. I think he was on the Mets, and I said something to him. Oh, he had a bad start with the Mets. He blocked me.
I did not like him. I even called him out on.
Yeah.
I'll whatever. But I even called him out, being a hypocrite and all that. But now I follow him on X. So yeah.
Yeah, he unblocked me recently. It's like, oh wow, he unblocked me. Okay, so I'll follow you again. I mean, he blocked me when he was in the Mets. I think with the Mets, I'm pretty sure, because I said something to him about how horrible the Mets are, and he's like, oh, block. And he blocked me. Okay, great, whatever. I liked him. I always liked him. He's he's a gamer. He's one of those guys who. He doesn't throw 99, but he's a gamer. He stays in there. One of the pitchers that I like. Even though he blocked me at one point, but I still like him.
Yeah, and Blake Snell got injured again today. Just after he came back.
Again, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I wanted the Yankees to get Blake Snell, and
I wanted to. I did too.
Yeah.
I wanted Blake Snell as well.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Brian Cashman, I guess nobody's doing still, even though I kind of complained about him plenty of times. I
didn't mind the Yankees not bringing back Jordan Montgomery. I mean, I liked him, but I don't know why every Yankee fan was so.
Well, he pitched well in the playoffs in the Rangers won the championship, so that's probably why a lot of Yankee fans wanted him back.
Yeah, but I wasn't really too, when they traded him, I was like.
They traded him for Harrison Bader, and he was injured, so that's why a lot of people complained about it.
But then when Harrison Bader played, he was really exciting. He was.
He's on the Mets now, and he.
Yeah. However, it was really, really funny. Bader was just interviewed a couple days ago. He asked about which New York players would go to Mount Rushmore or something like that. All the New York players he named were the Yankees.
Mm-hmm. The Yankees, yep.
Makes you think like, oh, he wants to go back to the Yankees again, doesn't he?
Even though he complained about the Yankees kind of when he left, but yeah, it was he wants to be here.
But I really
he was a solid player. I'll take him as a fourth outfielder. I mean, you have Dominguez and Judge and Soto and Bader. I'm fine with that four outfielder combination. Mm-hmm. I like Verdugo too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he'll be here. I think he'll sign for more money, somewhere else next season.
Because he's back to the Sox. I don't know.
You
think the Sox will bring him back after they traded him?
I don't. But
the Sox have Hamilton. Or wait. No. Hamilton's a shortstop, right?
Well, it's sort of like a revolving door. So
Trevor Story got hurt. Yeah.
That's the thing is like, I mean, they're honestly like this is a season where I have to look at the lineup, and a lot of times I'm like, wait, who? Like, I turned the game on today. We got back from grocery shopping, and I was like, "Oh, let me put it on." And there was a kid up to bat. I'm like, I have no idea who this is. Who? I don't know. Like, and it was a minor leaguer who was called. Like, it's fine, but I mean, it's just that kind of season for them where it's like, I don't know any given day. Like, so I couldn't really tell you, today versus tomorrow. Like, who's in the outfield? Like, I don't know. It's gonna be a fun surprise.
Are you surprised that John Henry is still the owner of the Red Sox, considering that it doesn't seem like a huge priority to him?
It's like so yeah, apparently John Henry and the other owners, they have other projects. I think one of them is a hockey team or something where
soccer, he has a soccer team, right?
Yeah, where they're just clearly like putting a lot more financial resources into some other things, and
Yeah.
the Sox are having the season they're having.
The NASCAR team as well, I think.
John Henry was a minority owner with the Yankees back in their dynasty years.
Oh,
I didn't even know that.
With
I didn't
George
know that either.
Steinbrenner. Yeah, he's a minority owner. So when he bought the majority of the Red Sox, they won in 2004, and it kind of started from there.
Damn you, George! Not just kidding.
No, but
Again,
he's just he's a cold, just like
he's a businessman.
yeah, like just because you own a baseball team doesn't mean that you love baseball or that you're going to be loyal to it in any way or do what's in the like. It doesn't mean any of that. It means you own a baseball team.
George Steinbrenner was a shipbuilder. That's how he made his money. And initially, when he bought the Yankees, he's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna let the baseball guys run it, and I'm just gonna pay the bills or whatever. Trust me." A year or two after that, he was like, he was fully controlling baseball operations.
Yeah.
Like, classic George, I mean, nobody knew that at the time with him, but it's like, yeah. He eventually controlled baseball operations too. Oh yeah, they won a couple championships in the '70s, but the A's were a disaster, and the '90s, late '90s, they were a dynasty. But again, a lot of that was like Gene Michael, and and Brian Cashman was involved in that too. A lot of that. So yeah, I mean, they were a dynasty, but not because of George. I mean, he was kind of suspended because if you see the documentary on Peacock about the '90 Yankees, how George was suspended, because he hired a gambler to look into Dave Winfield and that whole drama in 1990.
Oh, wow.
It's a documentary on Peacock. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
It's about the 1990 Yankees.
Oh, you know what? I'll check. I don't know if I have Peacock, but I'm gonna see if I can check that out.
The Yankees were the worst team in baseball that year, but
maybe
it was on Peacock. It's a documentary on Peacock, and they talk about the '90 Yankees, and they were the worst team in baseball. But that year led to the dynasty because George was suspended, and Gene Michael took over the team and kind of turned it around. And they drafted Jeter in '92, and by '96 he was up, and that kind of changed the whole. Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada was drafted, and a lot of the guys.
Yeah, that generation.
If the Yankees won that series against the Mariners, would Buck Showalter still be the manager?
I think he would be, because I don't think George would have fired him, because they got the ALCS that year, and
they probably would not have the success that they did. So
probably not.
So it was probably a blessing for them.
Remember when they hired Joe Torre, I was like, Joe Torre, I mean, his record's under 500. Why would you hire him over Buck? I was kind of like, ugh. And I remember the articles, Loser Joe, and it was a horrible decision, and it's like, turns out it was the correct decision. George knew what he was doing somehow when he hired Joe Torre, but
that 98 team.
One of the greatest teams I've ever seen. 114 wins.
Yeah.
The Mariners won 116 games a few years later, and the Yankees beat them, of course. But Yankees embarrassed them in like 5 games in the ALCS that year.
Yeah.
In 2001, it was right.
2001.
Yeah. And that was the greatest World Series I ever seen. 2001. Yes, the Yankees lost, but it was still one of the greatest World Series I ever seen.
Yeah.
With Tino and Scott Brosius hitting those home runs with 2 outs in the 9th inning off young Kim. He was never the same after that. He was like completely he was done after that. I remember when Brosius hit the home run. He was like, He was done. I mean, you could in his face, you can tell he was done. He never pitched again after. I think he wasn't the same after that. He was done shortly after that.
Mhm.
Let's see. Am I missing anything else? I mean, the Red Sox, and we talked about the Yankees, and so the Red Sox and the Yankees play June 15th, which is
Yep.
coming up soon,
Mhm.
at Fenway Park,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and
Can't wait to see Soto and Judge and Stanton have a monster series.
they're going. Let's see if they obliterate the Red Sox that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Like, I guess like from a betting perspective, I would bet that the Yankees are going to dominate. But again, it's baseball, and like you just never know. I don't, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I see the Yankees at least winning the series at least.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably likely. I am hopeful
Yan-
like the Sox take one.
The Yankees didn't lose the series in May. I mean, I saw a stat about that, and it's like, oh wow, the first
They
the
took
first
that series
team.
against the Orioles, but I think they'll do better again next time. They look better because
Yeah, I mean,
when they faced
they
against
have-
the Orioles, they were good, but they weren't at their best yet. But now they look really good, and I think it
with Soto, Judge, and Stanton playing like they are, who can beat them? I mean, few teams can beat them in baseball right now. And when Stanton gets hot, he can carry a team for a month or two. That's how good he is when he gets hot, which is rare with the Yankees. But when he gets hot,
Yeah.
he
Well,
can
as long as
carry
he
a
has
team.
the season like he did in 2021, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, he carried the Yankees in 21. Excuse me. Yeah, he carried the Yankees. I mean, he could do it. I mean, he showed the ability to
If
carry
he's
it.
healthy and he's right, I mean, he's still a big threat at the plate. No question.
Yeah, he is. When he won the MVP in 2017, it was. Yeah, he had 59 home runs. I mean, he can carry a team. He carried the Marlins to like nearly a 500 record.
Yeah.
So they weren't 500, but they nearly were at 500. I'm like, when we got Stanton in 2018, like, wait, Judge and Stanton together, Yankees can't lose. Of course, the injuries. I didn't know about what would happen afterwards, but at the time,
The same would happen with Gary Sanchez. It could have been a great.
Gary Sanchez is an enigma to me.
Yeah.
When Girardi managed him, he was one of the better catchers in baseball, and he can hit a lot.
Mhm.
When Boone took over, it was like it was a downhill spiral to a point where he's released.
Well, no,
And,
even when Girardi, I mean, Sanchez still had his issues at the plate. Like, remember that game against the Astros in Game 2 when he could have easily made the out, but then he dropped it, and the run scored. So,
yeah. And Girardi had to yell and scream at him a lot, but he yelled. I saw it was a game where he yelled and screamed at him, and the translator were next to him, kind of, it was so funny. It was like Girardi's yelling and screaming at him, like, and the translator has to translate for him, and it's like, he's like, "What the fuck?" I mean, it's like, okay, but it was.
I remember it was against, or actually, well, never mind. I think it's the picture I'm talking about. It was 2017. It was Yankees and Red Sox. You might remember this, Karen, when they were talking with Masahiro Tanaka on the mound, and Jeremy, what's his name? Jeremy Remy, is that, or no, not Jeremy Remy. Jerry Remy, is that his name?
Jerry Remy.
When he said something like, "I don't think translators should be on the mound. I think the pitchers should learn the English language or something." Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah.
I
And he
don't.
apologize after he said
like,
that.
Dude, he's fucking Spanish. I mean, he speaks Spanish. English is hard to learn.
Yeah.
It took my mother 10 years to learn English properly.
It's a very difficult language.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you expect a guy to learn English in a few years. I mean, if you apply yourself, maybe you could learn it, but it's tough. English is a tough language to learn.
Yeah, extremely.
So it's like I'm grateful to have
just
it in my
ask
native
Jorge
language.
Lopez.
Jorge Lopez, that's the guy. That poor guy. I mean, throwing the glove in the stands, and then we are the worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, I meant to say I'm the worst teammate or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
look, I mean, if the Yankees pick him up, it's like, okay, fine. You pick him up, put him in the bullpen.
I don't know if he would want to shave his beard and cut his hair though. So I don't know if he would want to do that. But yeah,
As a Yankee fan, I George instituted that rule, and I'm like, okay, I get it. It's
yeah,
2024. Can we at least let the guys have a beard? I'm not talking about having a Johnny Damon beard here,
yeah,
like Karen, that with
exactly.
Johnny Damon, but
Yeah.
at
Well,
least
and
let
like,
them have a beard,
did they make? I'm assuming they made Verdugo take off all his chains,
Yeah,
right? He was
yeah.
Yeah, he
Google
has like
suggested he
he
take off.
has like one or two chains still, but it's not like the chains he had with the Red
Yeah,
Sox,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember when the 2013 Red Sox had all those beards. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, and let the guys have a beard. I'm not talking about beards like here, but
Yeah,
let the Yankees have a beard, maybe a little kind of longer
Yeah,
hair.
like
I don't mind that.
it's very strict. No facial hair,
No,
right? I mean, like none.
they're allowed to have a
A
mustache, but it has
mustache,
to
but
be
that's it.
properly trimmed
Mhm.
and stuff.
yeah.
How kept that? That's the only thing he kept from George. It's like yeah, let the mustache, but it's like
Mhm.
come on, man. I mean, let them. I have a goatee. At least let them have some sort of facial hair. I don't care. It's
Yeah,
2024.
but I also kind of feel like at this point for the Yankees as part of kind of the team identity, like that really is sort of a crucial thing to their aesthetic. Like they are the team that either has little to no facial hair. They're very well groomed. After the game, they put on a suit. I mean, it's a very
It's a New York thing.
it's just
Yeah.
a very specific thing that I think that if they lost that,
Yeah,
I don't know. It kind of
yeah.
it kind
The
of takes
suit,
That's
something
how I
away
feel
from them.
too.
I don't
the
know.
suit thing. I don't mind them, having the suit on. That's fine, but
Yeah,
it's like you
no,
can
I mean,
still.
I'm not putting like a value judgment on it necessarily. I'm just saying that I think that kind of restriction that they have, it it is become very synonymous with the identity of the team to the same way that like I think it would be utterly absurd if suddenly I started seeing the Sox in like press suits after the game. I would think that was equally ridiculous. So it's just like the team aesthetic to some extent kind of becomes synonymous with the team
Yeah,
identity.
yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the suits. I'm just let's let guys have a beard. I'm not saying have a like a homeless type of guy, but yeah, let's let him have a beard and maybe a little long hair to to the ears or something. That's fine. I'm not saying
Sorry,
that
man, we're
you have
playing with
hair
the Yankees.
to the shoulder.
Nope, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees have lost out on some guys because they will just won't shave their beard or anything like that or
Yeah,
shave their hair. They've lost out on some guys over the years, and it kind of frustrates me at this point that they're still kind of that militaristic, style.
but
Even
again,
Then again,
I
like, how
think
would George Steinbrenner feel about it? I know he's dead, but like, would they really want to disrespect his legacy if they got rid of that,
I
rule?
don't think they should get rid of it,
how
and yet I also it's like I'm of two minds because on one hand, I think the rule is ridiculous, but on that same in that same spirit, I would never want it changed, and it's not out of any kind of disrespect for the Yankees. It's the opposite. I really don't think you can get rid of that at this point, as ridiculous as I think it is, because it is just synonymous with what
Yeah.
the uniqueness of that team. Like you can't get rid of that.
yeah, yeah, it would be tough to get rid of it, but it's like, but as a Yankee fan, there are times where it's like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, it's like you lost out on this guy over his beard.
Yep. And
It's like,
that is the
yeah,
trade-off.
yeah, I
That is
understand.
what is
Yeah,
going to
mhm.
happen.
And Howell's continued that tradition. Not like
Mhm.
he's not, and I don't mind. At the same time, it's like, and my mother is like a huge Yankee fan. Okay, it's fine, whatever. I mean, we'll deal with the guys we have. I mean, if you come here with the Yankees, you have to accept certain things. The
Right.
pressure from New York, the
Mhm.
pressure of being a Yankee.
Yeah.
You have the certain rules of no beard and no
Mhm.
long hair.
Mhm.
You if you come here, there's certain things you have to do, and
Yeah. I
you have to
mean,
accept that.
and I certainly would have I certainly have more sympathy for any player that is traded into that didn't necessarily choose it, because it's like, oh geez, like you don't have a say, you're traded
Yeah,
over here.
you were traded
But
there. Yeah,
anyone free agent, or who's actively choosing
you
that,
know you're
no,
going
you
into
know
it.
exactly what you're signing up for. And that's just the way it is. I mean, in terms of
Mhm.
like, there are certain teams, forgetting the aesthetic thing for a second, but just teams that I think take a certain kind of psyche to kind of be able to be successful, because the pressure is unbelievable. Like, New York is definitely one of those teams. Boston is one of those teams. Philly is one of those teams. Like, there are certain teams where it's like, this is not going to be like playing in St. Louis or Kansas City. No disrespect, but the fan base, it's a completely
Or even Los Angeles,
animal.
because
Yeah.
even though Los Angeles is supposed to be a big city, but the fans aren't quite as
No,
quite as big as
like the
New York.
Dodger fans like peace out in the seventh inning. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's Los
Oh
Angeles.
yeah.
It's the thing.
I remember Dodgers versus Braves. I think it was game 3 in 2021. It was when the Dodgers were losing,
Mhm.
and then the fans had left the game, but the Dodgers came back and won that game. So
It's
yeah.
very similar to the Miami market with the I'm gonna go to the NBA, but with the Heat when LeBron was there, they were losing by like 20 and they all left. And they tried to get back in, they couldn't get in, and the Heat came back with
Mhm.
LeBron. I'm like, you left. Why the hell are you trying to get
This
back
is
in?
what I'm saying. Like, if I was at a game, I don't care if it's 12-0 in the bottom of the ninth. I am not leaving. That is my team. No,
You paid a ton of
absolutely
money
not.
too for that ticket too. Yeah. So why would you leave? Even if like you said, it down 12-0 in the ninth.
I'm not
It's
leaving.
like I
Yes,
paid a shit ton of money to be here. I'm gonna
of
stay.
course, I paid for the ticket. Yes, one, but also that is my team
Hmm.
in good times and bad. That's how it goes. You stay and you watch them lose. That's it. That's what fans do.
There's this picture of Heat fans like desperately trying to get back in, and like you left, and they're trying to, and LeBron and the Heat were coming back, and it's like you left, stay out there.
Mhm.
And they couldn't get back in. It's like, come on, man, it's ridiculous.
They got
It
the
was in the
Florida
playoffs too.
Panthers
It was like,
on now.
yeah, I mean, I'm getting to the NBA there, but
I
yeah,
know.
it's like that's an example that because Miami fans are very similar to LA fans. They're like, yeah, I mean, when the Dodgers are good, they're all there. As soon as they start, they're gone, instantly.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
the only World
I
Series
hate
they
that.
won was 2020 with the pandemic year when they won that World Series. That's
Mhm.
it. Dave Roberts haven't won anything. Yeah, and you look at the teams he's had, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
super teams.
2022. I mean, they won 111 games, and then they only won one postseason game. It's
Yeah. Well,
Horrible.
that's the thing.
How
You just never know. You
how is
just.
Dave Roberts still there? I mean,
I mean,
it's like
obviously,
Aaron Boone with the Yankees.
I can never speak ill of Dave Roberts. You
I don't know
understand?
if the
Never
team
do
would
that.
be different without Roberts. I'm not sure. It could just be a team. But yeah, Dave Roberts is not the greatest manager, that's for sure.
Dave Roberts stole that second. I mean, yeah, I get why you're loyal to Dave Roberts, but yeah, in the 2004 playoffs with the Red Sox. But yeah, but as a manager, I
Yeah,
question
as
a
a
lot of his.
manager, sure,
And
but
then Dave Roberts helped the 2018 Red Sox win too.
I mean, it's like as a manager, I question. Anyway, Dave Roberts was like 04. I was like, come on, man. He's a pinch runner. He steals second, and then David Ortiz gets the hit, and they score and they
Yeah.
win, and the Red Sox win that
well, no,
series.
you're skipping a step. It was Miller that drove him in, but that's okay.
I
Yeah.
assumed it was
It was Ortiz that had the game winning.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
I assumed it was Big Pop. He always had the hits off Mariano, so it was like, oh yeah, I assumed it was him, but I forget it was 20 years ago at this point.
David Ortiz, I don't recall David Ortiz always hitting off of Mariano.
Well, he was the only one that can hit off him consistently.
Well, I mean, that's just a battle of brilliant pitcher versus brilliant hitter. That's just going to be like, you know what I mean? Like that.
he was the only one who could hit him consistently, and it was like, how the hell can he do that? Nobody else in baseball can figure him out. Nobody else in baseball figured out Mariano except for David Ortiz. Like, come on, man. I mean, it was frustrating to watch David Ortiz doing that to Mo.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, Yankees winning what, 4 or 5 championships with Mo?
Mhm.
It was 96, 98, 99, 2000, 2009, 05. 96, 98, 99, 2000, 2009. It was 5. Yankees
Yeah.
made what, 7 World Series appearances, and they lost in 01 and 03. They lost in 03 to the Marlins. I still kind of can't believe that. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
that kind of, even though it's 20 years ago,
Yeah,
but
we
still,
almost had a Yankees Cubs World Series that year.
if it wasn't for Bartman, again, Bartman,
No, no,
whatever
no,
you think.
no, not Steve Bart. No, he's not the reason why. I mean, I know things unraveled, but he's not the reason why they lost.
The Cubs just choked it away, I know, but
Yeah.
it seemed like it's easy for Chicago Cubs fans to blame Bartman, even though they won the World Series in 2016 finally,
Yeah.
but they probably should have won in 03. And see how good that rotation was and how good that team
Also,
was.
Dusty Baker, there were moves he made that weren't good either. So
No, Dusty choked. I mean, Dusty teams before he went to the Astros kind of choked away playoffs and
yeah.
stuff. He was known for that.
Mhm.
And he finally won a championship with the Astros. And I'm like, okay, he got his ring as a manager. I'm happy for him, even though it was with the Astros. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'd rather him get it with the Cubs or with the Giants or something. But whatever, he got his ring. He's gone. Who's the manager now? It was
Joe Espada.
Joe Espada, and they're in what disastrous shape. So it's like
Yeah.
Joe Espada was in the Yankees coaching staff. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Carlos Mendoza was too with the
Yeah.
Mets.
Yeah. He was the bench coach for him.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I remember he got ejected a few times with the Yankees. That's why I recognize the name. And you know, the Mets are low Mets as usual. I mean, I thought when Steve Cohen bought the team, I'm like, okay, now they're going to be good.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Now they're back to the same old
No,
Mets.
they're low Mets, even with the Wilpons. It's like Wilpons have the team still.
Yeah.
Thank God, because the Yankees, they're still dominating New York. But I don't want to hear Mets fan. Mets fans are still now they hate Wilpon, not Wilpon, Cohen and Mendoza. It's like, will he last as Mets manager? They might just throw him under the bus and fire him for all the mess the mess that Steve Cohen caused and the GM.
Urinating Trees videos about the Mets are always hilarious.
Yeah, low Mets.
Hey, Mets fans, what do you have for this year? It's the same team, whatever.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same bullshit every year. The Mets won 101 games and they only won
And they
one or
still
two
blew it
playoff
to the
games.
Braves.
The Braves won a championship that year. Oh,
The year
I'm sure,
before. The
oh
year
yeah, I'm
before.
sure you heard about Acuna hurting his
Yeah.
knee again. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Acuna, one of the better players in baseball, and he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Do
Like
we
imagine,
have any other pressing thing? Because I have to go in a few minutes. So do we have like
no, I mean
any other
it's
thing?
we're just
Talk about
bullshitting
everything.
around. Let's talk about random stuff here. But if you
No,
need to,
I know. I didn't know if there was anything that you wanted to cover that we didn't yet cover.
I think
no, I'm probably gonna wrap up in like 15 minutes, anyways. But I know Reef and Indy goes live at 10 o'clock here, so I need to wrap up soon, anyways. But we're just bullshitting around. But if you need to
Okay.
go, we can go.
we
Yeah.
should do
We can
another.
go. I mean,
We should do another stream where we talk about the video games or GTA 6 like we did months ago.
oh yeah, I mean we can because I want to stream on Sundays more often, so we can definitely set that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I want to. I mean, if you need to go, Karen, you can go. I mean, I'm probably gonna wrap up in like 15 minutes, anyways.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you for having me for more baseball talk.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring you back probably after the All-Star break. We can review our teams then.
That's right. That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll have the All-Star
Mhm.
game, and we can talk about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we can
right.
review our
Well,
teams then. But
yes.
all right, you can go. I mean, we'll
Sounds
wrap up in
good,
like a
guys.
minute. Though.
Okay. Thank you. Good night,
All right,
guys.
thank you for coming on. All right, good night.
All right, I'm probably gonna get off too. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, thank you everybody for watching. Hope everybody enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next month for the All-Star break. I mean, we'll review our teams then, and have a nice weekend. Have a nice week, everybody. I'll
Yeah.
see you, Alex. All right,
Mhm.
thank you.